Okay, here we go. Stephanie, Brian, Laura, Isabel, are you there?
Yes, Miss Stephanie.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, so let's start with how to teach the writing. Okay, these are the contests that we're going to see that we'll see this week and maybe the next week, maybe until next Monday. Why teach writing? What kind of writing should a student do? What do writing sequences look like? How should teachers correct writing? And what can be done about the handwriting? How does writing, sorry for this mistake, writing fit fit into ESA? More writing suggestions. Okay, so dictionaries define are the act of forming visible letters, that is writing, or characters, or the act or process of one who writes. That is writing. Okay, we know that writing is so much more than if we assume that writing is so necessary that another skills to perform. I think this is I like to make a lot of exercises, a lot of writing in if I start giving classes to beginners, I like have them write because I always say I always tell my student, the same that you write is the same that you speak, right? And this is a I cannot say because all the skills are very important that from the scratch from the beginning you have to practice with your student the four skills: writing, reading, vocabulary, and grammar. They you have to teach it in the same in the same level. If you are teaching beginners, you have to give them the skills. You have to practice all those
Miss,
skills. Mhm.
sorry, I'm back again. In that kind of skill, writing can be considered an skills to know about if the student produced the English. In case of speaking and writing, that's both, they both
All
show
the
the
skills are
teacher.
connected. All the skills
Yeah,
are connected.
yeah,
But
but it reflects more when the student produce in front of the teacher. Because comprehension is is connected by other skills. But for example, writing shows the teacher that the students have the ability to produce by their own.
yeah, okay. But the thing is, grammar and writing is connected, right? They are connected. And it's very important that from the scratch, from the beginning, you have them right. You have them right. For example, I'm giving beginners too on my jobs, and I always have them write short sentences. I have them write. Okay, it's important that you practice writing with them because it's gonna be easy for them when they are going to produce the language. So as I told you, dictionary said and defined that The writing is the act of forming visible letters or characters, or the act or process of are who writes. Okay, so form of writing, there are many things. Next Wednesday I'm going to give you some worksheets that you can use with your student, and is something that gonna have your student. It's like a process. There are many, they are strategies. There are like strategies. Okay, form of writing. Writing can be different. We will write short stories or opinion. Form of writings. There are many form of writing. Descriptive writing. What is a descriptive writing? You can practice this with your student. In descriptive writing, specific of a person, a location, situation, on or other topic. Descriptive writing is like, for example, when you have your student, you ask your student to write something that they can see. Okay, location, or something that, or the topic that you decide, or something that they capture around them. For example, if you go with them to the playground with them, and you ask them to write what they can see, right? So that is descriptive writing. This is the purpose of teaching descriptive writing to students, is to assist them in describing something to the reader. Okay, so it's easy. You can say your student, you can ask your student to come to the go to the playground, and tell them, please, you can, according to the grammar that you're giving, use this grammar, use verb to be, use present tense, and describe what do you see in this playground, in this part of the school. That is a descriptive writing. You can do it with your student. Why teach writing? Could you please, Lourdes, could you please read this part? Why teach writing?
Okay, why teach writing? The reasons for teaching writing to students of English as a foreign language include reinforcement, language development, language study, and most importantly, writing as a skill on its own right. We will look at each of these in turn. Reinforcement. Some students acquire languages in a purely oral, but most.
Sorry, something happened with oral way.
But most of us benefit greatly from seeing the language reading down. The visual demonstration of language construction is invaluable for both our understanding of how it all fits together, and as an aid to committing the new language to memory. Students often find it useful to write sentences using new language shortly after they have studied it. Language development. We can't be sure, but it seems that the actual process of writing, rather like the process of speaking, helps us to learn as we go along. The mental activity we have to go through in order to construct proper written text is all part of the ongoing learning experience.
Yes. Reinforcement. How can you make a reinforcement? Okay. If you have practiced grammar with them, now you can assign homeworks with writing. Okay, but you have to focus on grammar. I have examples about how to send a grammar homework. For example, for a kids, for example, if you are teaching daily routines, you can assign homework. You can have them. You can print the homework and paste the piece of paper with the, because they are kids, right? So it's important that you have them to make a writing notebook, and have them to make this routine. In your writing home, you're going to have this writing homework for example, every Friday. Every Friday you're gonna have your writing homework. So maybe you can assign a short homework. Okay, write your daily routines, but it's important that you give them tools. It's not like the instructions say, write your daily routine, but you have to write what do you have that they write. You have to write, okay, do you go to school every Monday? Do you, or where do you go on Saturday? So you don't have to, you have to write the question. Write the question that the student have to answer. So let me check here one of my writing homeworks that I assigned to my third grade students. So you can do the same with advanced levels, but obviously the questions are going to be different. Just hold on for a moment. But it's a good idea that you assign a writing homework. So that's a good idea. Okay, that could be a writing homework too. That could be a good strategy. Cause and effect. That's something that I'm going to give you these strategies next Wednesday. Some of exercises that you can assign to your student. For example, this could be a writing. Can you see my screen? Dear student, Lourdes, are you there? Do you have a question?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, I wanted to say about writing. I like to give my students like the basis so they can continue. But the problem is that when I receive students upper intermediate or advanced level, if they don't have, if they don't know how to structure, they get really, they don't know how to structure their ideas, sentences, simple sentence, compound sentences. So they get really frustrated. So possibly this is in my personal.
It's difficult for you to form because you have to go back and explain the grammar again. A simple grammar.
Yes, when I receive students from the beginners, I always make them write like one paragraph each week. And so they learn. Yes, they after practicing they improve their writing. But the thing is that when other teachers just tell them, okay, write about this topic and students don't know how to structure, it's very
Yeah.
difficult. I have one student that started to cry in class. She didn't write a sentence, nothing. And it was because of that. So I couldn't help her in that moment because I was only replacing that class. So I just gave the topic. So I suppose that they already knew how to write a paragraph because it was in the instruction of the test. But it was. So in my personal opinion, this is probably the most difficult skill to teach for me.
Yeah, that's it's difficult for teachers who receive, for example, intermediate or advanced. Maybe advanced or intermediate student go go to that level with
Mm.
with
No, no,
mistakes, writing with mistakes, but it's because they don't have they haven't had a good process of grammar. But that's why it's very important that as a teacher, when you receive your students, for example, if you have beginners, you must have you must know that you need to that's my high school when I work.
Okay.
You have to do a good work with your students. Have them write short sentences from the scratch, from the beginner. Have them to compare what is the difference between verb to be and present tense, because sometimes they forgot the grammar and they sometimes make a mix a mix between verb to be
Thing is that
and present tense.
they
Right?
tend to translate and want to write like the direct translation they have in Spanish. They want to write similar to that in English. So it's difficult. In general, this is difficult.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have maybe some information about this, how to start teaching,
Yes.
writing, the basic
Yes.
sentences, material about that.
Yes.
That can help.
The thing is that you have to we have to learn how to teach grammar. My recommendation, my suggestion is that, for example, if you teach beginners, if you receive beginners, you have to teach very well. You have to teach grammar correctly. Have them to make sentences. Have them to make sentences. If they don't understand, maybe you can explain the grammar in Spanish. Obviously, you cannot translate word. No, translate the way that they have to write. Okay, so you have to teach like a formula. Remember, use colors. Okay, I'm teaching can and can't. Okay, I after subject, a modal verb, and then the verb. After subject, modal verb, and the verb. Okay, so have them to unscramble sentences, right? Use connectors. What are connectors? But, when, and, right? But, when, and, because, right? So I have an exercise here, for example, but this is cause and effect exercise, but this is for third grade. For example, when you are given an instruction how to write something, for example, write about what do you do every day. Okay, what do you do every day? You are teaching present tense. For example, you are teaching present tense. Okay, what do you do Monday at 7 a.m. Okay, so teach them. In the same question, use the verb, use the subject. Who is the subject? You. I, and then I have to use the verb. Put colors if you want, okay? But the thing is that you have to teach them as a formula. As a formula, like mathematics exercise, okay? Subject with a color, the verb with a color, and the rest, the complement with another color. So I have them practice a lot, many times. Okay, so but Lourdes, if you have intermediate and advanced, and if they writing like a shampoo when they are writing something, you have them to remember the process. Maybe you can, if you have that problem, or you have a group of students that they don't know how to structure, elicit. For example, if you are giving modal verbs, I don't know, should, for example, elicit with colors. Again, this is the subject, should plus verb, then the rest of the sentence, the complement, right? Have them,
Well, I
have
usually
them,
can have that if the student had been with me before, like the pre-intermediate to advanced, so. But the thing is that I have now a class. They are beginners, so
you have beginners.
they don't know adjectives. They don't know. They cannot recognize the actions, the verbs.
In that
I would-
case, they have to know. In that level, they have to know. But
Yeah,
that is
the
because
thing-
maybe it was not the problem. It was not teacher problem. Maybe it's a student problem. Maybe that student is they didn't put his effort, or your students your student don't study. So make a list, or you have to make the role. You have to make the role of tutor, right? Make an appointment with your student and talk about the things that they are failing. Okay, you have to study this. You have to study the list. We are level, I don't know, in your academy. This is beginner, but in the last course that you have taken, here you have the book. If you want, you can open the book. Obviously, in a delicate way. Okay, this is the list of the adjective. You have to study the adjective. You can push your student to study too. For example, in the academy that I am giving classes, I always say you're gonna have a final test. If you don't study, need a student, because that is the process of that academy. If they don't, if they fail, if the student fail, they will go back. Okay.
Yes, I mean, that is no problem here because this is a public institution. The ones that don't study fail. That is not a problem with us in general, with teachers. The thing is that it's difficult. They want to write, but it's difficult, very difficult for them to organize their ideas and make sentences, make a logical short paragraph about any topic.
Yeah,
or
Lourdes,
idea.
my suggestion is that assign homeworks. Assign
Yeah,
homeworks,
I
maybe
have
not too
been
much,
telling them
but have them to write in class.
I told them that each week they are going to show me a paragraph, so they are going to write a paragraph in class.
Mhm.
They have improved a little, they have improved a little.
Yeah.
And also another problem with writing is time, because it takes time to correct, to
Mhm.
teach writing and to correct any writing activity that they do in class. Also
Yeah.
takes time. So that's what teachers avoid, so they don't want to correct.
Mhm. Yeah.
And a safe, for example.
Mhm. Obviously. That's difficult when the student didn't have a good process. When the student didn't have a good process, it's difficult with advanced teachers. Okay. Okay. Here you have a cause and effect chart, but we're not gonna see this. But this is a good strategy, an example. But this is an example with past tense, for example. Obviously, this is cause and effect, but the student have to read something. Have to read something first. Here we don't have the reading, but this is about small chicks, a spider, a spin, a sticky web. Obviously, the student have a reading, and after, but this is writing and reading strategy too. Writing a reading strategy, writing and reading, because they have to read and then they remember what have you seen in the reading. Okay, so small creeks, poke holes, and cracked shells. What happened? Cause and effect. So, but I'm not going to see that because we're going to check this, all the writing and reading strategy next Wednesday. Okay, we have a lot of worksheet with this, but let me see if I can find the writing homework. I'm gonna see, but if we can find, I'm going to just alone. I'm not going to quizzes. My quizzes. Okay, that could be it's not could be. Sorry. This is a writing it's a writing homework or a writing exercise for a second or third grade. Yes, hold on. No. Okay, this is for third or second grade. You can write using the following words. Write sentence using the following words. This is easy. Okay, you can use, you can put now, email, long ago, and horseshoe. Obviously, that is an example. Obviously, you have given the unit with those words. You cannot send the homework and you haven't taught what is the meaning of email, what is the meaning of this word. Students have learned the meaning of these words with you. Okay, you can say this is a kind of exercise that you can send to your students. But this is for beginners, okay? Beginners. but you can send to your students. Let me show you another. Aha. This is a super bonus that I remember. Okay. For example, this is something that I put in the exam. What did you do yesterday? You are teaching past tense, for example. What did you do yesterday? That is a writing. That is a writing exercise that you can send. But in order to put this exercise on your exam, you have to practice this exercise before. Okay. In your exam, must have a grammar, all the skills, reading, vocabulary, grammar, and the writing. Write sentences about you have learned about the past. Okay, look at this, writing. Write sentences about you have learned about the past. Obviously, children play simple games. What did you do yesterday? Okay. So remember that you have to write questions. Write about what have you learned or what have you done. What did you do yesterday? So maybe in your homework you can write this question. Did you, for example, learn or write about last Christmas or about last year? What did you do last? Or about what you did last year? Okay. Then, when you send this homework or this exercise, write at least 4 questions. Depends on the levels, right? Depend on your level. You have to write what? Last year, sorry. Here. Did you travel? Where did you go? So, the student, when you write about what you did last year, that's all. And the student, oh my God, what I'm going to write? So for kids, for beginners or intermediate, you can give the tools in order that they can write. So you write question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, and then the student develop their writing. Okay. Obviously, they have the grammar because you have taught the grammar. Last year, I traveled to New York, for example. And then you provide more questions, provide many questions in order that they can produce a writing. Okay, you understand? Dear student? Hello, hello.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so don't make or don't assign the writing like an open question. Provide many questions in order that they can produce the writing. Okay, so because it's very difficult to them at the beginning. If you write about your boyfriend, I don't know, write about your mother. So, or tell me about your mother. Oh, if they are beginners, could be difficult. What's your mother's name? What's your mother's last name? How old is she? What does she do? So questions, right? In order that I can answer and produce the right. This is a strategy that I always use with my beginners. Okay? And let's continue. What is my... I'm going to provide you with many exercises, okay? Don't worry. It's difficult for me sometimes. Okay. Language development. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. We can't be sure, but it seems that the actual process of writing. Look at this. Look at this part. The mental activity we have to go through in order to construct proper written text is all part of the ongoing learning experience. Okay, process of writing, rather like process of speaking. So if you have a good speaking, if you have a good grammar, they will produce a good speaking. Everything is connected, right? If you don't teach grammar in the correct way, always your student will have mistakes. Okay. Learning styles. Could you please, Brian, please read
Sure.
learning styles.
Sure, learning styles. Some students are fantastically quick at picking up language just for looking and listening. For the rest of us, it may take a little longer. For many learners, the time to think through, for many learners, the time to think things through to produce language in a shower way is invaluable. Writing is appropriate for such learners. It can also be a quiet reflective activity instead of the rush of and bother or interpersonal face-to-face communication.
Continue. Writing as a skill.
Okay, writing as a skill. But for the most important reason for teaching writing, of course, is that it is basic language skill. It's just as important as speak, listening, and reading. A student needs to know how to write letters, how to put written reports together, how to reply the advertisement, and increasingly, how to write using electronic media. They need to know some of writing special conventions. punctuations, paragraphs, construction, etc. Just as they need to know how to pronounce spoken English appropriately. Part of our job is to give them.
To teach writing is like you can teach them as a routine. You can use, as I told you, you can use with them a notebook, a writing notebook. Okay, maybe it's gonna be it's not difficult for that. You can assign short homework, short writing homework. Start with a short paragraph. As I told you, as I show you the exercise, write about your mother, write about, and have them to write 3 or 5 sentences, and that could be easy for you because you're going to check the sentences, and you're going, maybe you assign a short writing homework, then you can send the middle of a paper, middle of a page, then you can use an entire paper, an entire worksheet, right? What else? Learning style. Some students are fantastically quick at picking up languages by looking and listening. For the rest of us, it may take a little longer. For many learners, the time, I think, to produce language in a shallower way. Writing appropriate for such learning. It can also be quite reflective activity instead of rush and bother of interpersonal face-to-face communication. Okay, you can use your own style. You can learn in your own style. If you notice that something is wrong in the process, you can go back and you can elicit again the grammar in order that they can produce a good writing. Okay, try to use the connectors when they are beginners. Don't forget to use the connector. How to use connectors, but for example, you can teach here. I don't know if I can write, for example, okay, how are you going to use but? Okay, but what's the meaning but? You can say in Spanish only one, but okay, pero. I like, for beginners, I like pizza. But I don't, the next, but I don't like vegetables. Okay, so, but you can use but in positive, affirmative sentence, and then negative sentence. Okay, you can start like this. Okay, when you are going to teach connectors, for example. So, but the first step is that they can write a sentence in order. It's not the same in Spanish, dear student. It's not the same in Spanish. In Spanish, you can omit the subject, for example. I always say, you can omit the subject when you speak Spanish, but it's not the same. For example, when they are speaking, obviously they have practice writing, or I have them to write sentences. When they speak, they omit the subject. Okay, I have them to repeat. You can repeat, okay, because they omit the verb, for example. What is the verb? But obviously you can give the feedback in the correct way, right? In the correct way. When the process of grammar is correct, for example, they know how to write a sentence in the correct way, in order, then you can use, okay, now we can use connectors. Okay, but you elicit your simple sentence like this. I like pizza, but I don't like vegetable. I like horror movies, but I don't like comedy movies. Okay, and have them to make similar sentence. Okay, then you teach when how to use the connector and. Okay, because they sometimes I'm going to put two sentences and put but. Okay, no, you have them analyze why are you going to use but. Okay, to contrast something. And for example, connector and I love my mom and dad. Okay, this is a simple one. Okay, but if you're a student don't recognize well these connectors, you can teach them again in the level that you are giving classes. Okay, and then connectors, the other connectors, the main connectors, but and when and because. You can start with those. And Lourdes, if you have those problems, you can send extra homework. And if you have time, you can talk with your student, because this is not your problem. Maybe your student haven't studied very well, or they had a bad process of grammar. Okay, we have to, as a teacher, we have to help them. Okay, but because that is our vacation. Okay, so next Wednesday we're going to see more examples of writing. I'm going to show you. I'm going to find my homeworks. Okay, my homeworks and my worksheets too, because I'm gonna share with you. I promise. Okay, this is all for today. Do you have questions about writing until so far? Brian, Isabel, Lourdes,
Sorry.
do you have
Yes,
questions
yes.
about?
No, it's clear about teaching Raman. Get her
Teaching
writing, sorry.
writing?
It's
Everything
okay,
is,
teacher. Thank you.
yeah. It's everything is connected. Grammar with writing. You have to teach grammar in the correct way, and then write. Everything is. You don't have to forget all those the skills, all these skills. Okay. We're going to take a picture to start off. Happy New Year!
You too, miss.
I'm going to put, okay. Where is my, sorry for something happened. Okay, you can go. I'm going to send later because my computer it's slow. Okay, we'll see you next Wednesday. Have a nice night.
Okay, teacher. Have a good night.
Kisses.
Bless you. Bless you, teacher.
Blessings.
Night. Hi,
Good
teacher.
night.